There seems to be a lot of discussion about the lack of curvature on the Earth, and a lot of it seems to be centered around water. The first few minutes of this is just some drone footage that I was able to grab from different sources, fair use for educational purposes. And I'll put the fair use statement in the comments. But basically, what you're looking at here is a flat horizon. All right, and there seems to be a lot of testing going on and a lot of difference of opinion because really what we're concentrating on are visuals. Okay, and there's some principles of water that are pretty universal that I believe. And when I say water, I mean bodies of water. When it's gone above the drop or small amount. Okay, everybody knows about surface tension and meniscus and the varying things. What I'm talking about is large bodies of water or bodies of water. And as we know from like creeks or streams or rivers, if water is not at the same elevation, it will flow until it reaches a point of containment where it levels out. And this is witnessed in ponds, lakes, in your bathtub, in a swimming pool, and yes, even the ocean. All right, and we know that it has found its level, as you can see here from the shorelines in this footage, because if it hadn't, it would flow. It would either be coming up on the shore or it would be going out to sea. So we know that water has reached its level. Now, there is a variety of different claims, and the ones that make claims to the globe invoke gravity and say that the water is actually conforming to the outside of the earth. All right, this is absurd for a couple reasons, but I'm not going to really go into that right now. And what we seem to spend a lot of time talking about is the visual. All right, and everybody talks about what is going on straight out in front of you, even though clearly we can see left to right that indeed the horizon appears to be level, right? And what we're doing continuously is talking about visuals instead of tangibles, okay? So at that horizon right there, is the water really curving away from you, right? We know from the shoreline, and we can pick footage from all around the world. There's plenty of drone footage these days showing what the water looks like when it reaches the shore, right? So we know it's contained, and yes, there's motion in the water. There's waves, and it's up and down, okay? But the overall point is the water has reached a state of equilibrium. It's contained by a shoreline, right? And a lot of people try to invoke a ice wall or some other unproven thing, all right? But clearly what we can see all around the earth, be it in a pond, a lake, the ocean, what we have is a shoreline, all right? And I'm not a great video editor. I'm relatively new to putting stuff up on YouTube, so the editing may not be fantastic or as professionally produced as a lot of people. But what I hope to show in this is clear evidence of a tangible, all right, which cannot be debated, right? Because once we determine what I already know is that the oceans are indeed level, all right? That water is not curving. And I have tangible proof that I'm about to show you to prove that that is in fact what's happening. This drone footage happens to be over Bermuda, but I can find drone footage from all around the world, and basically the water, when it reaches the shore in most places, unless there's something going on underlying seafloor which causes waves, it all appears to be doing this right here, right? It's coming up and it's not flowing anywhere. It's not going away. It's just there. So anyway, here, let me show you what I have to show you here. Okay, this first diagram right here what I'm going to be talking about is a Navy railgun. And for those of you unfamiliar with this I'll be showing you a short video here in a second, but I just want to explain this diagram that explains the difference between traditional ballistic trajectory and the new railguns. You'll notice here, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see my cursor, but right here what this is saying is that this is a distance over 200 nautical miles. Okay, traditionally, hopefully you can see my cursor, ballistic trajectory shoots the missile up, the missile up, and it goes up. This example right here is showing it reaches a height of 500,000 feet and hits its target, right? Traditional ballistics, this right here to travel 200 nautical miles is done so in about 6 minutes. All right. Now the railgun, which is, you'll see the video here in a second, travels at hypervelocity, right? Which is at least Mach 5. That's 5 times the speed of sound. When it's launched, it's at 7.5. By the time it reaches its target, it's at least Mach 5 by the time it happens. And instead of taking 6 minutes, it arrives at its target in 6 seconds. Okay, so take a look at this for a second, and this right here clearly is going in a straight line. All right, and as you're about to see from this video, these projectiles are solid pieces of metal. I'm not sure what kind, I'm sure it's classified, but they are not guided. All right, they're direct line of sight, or by whatever means that they use to sight the target, they go straight to the target. They're not lobbed up in the air and come down and hit it. Okay, all right, now let me show you this short video on the missile itself, but keep this diagram in mind. I won't be coming back to it. Okay, but this clearly shows, and this is a picture from Popular Science. Okay, but this clearly shows that it's not shot up in the air and going over to it, that it in fact travels straight to the target.
U.S. Navy revealed a futuristic weapon that has been under secret development for years. David Martin has the first look at the electromagnetic railgun.
The phrase "faster than a speeding bullet" just took on a whole new meaning.
An electromagnetic railgun is a gun that uses just electricity, no gunpowder, and oh, by the way, can shoot a projectile like this well over 100 miles at Mach 7.
7 times the speed of sound.
7 times the speed of sound.
Rear Admiral Matthew Plunder is the chief of naval research which developed the railgun. That chunky object is the projectile. An electromagnetic pulse propels it down the barrel, creating a fireball of molten steel. The projectile sheds its steel cladding, and in video released for the first time today, it smashes into a dummy warhead that represents an incoming missile. The explosion is caused by the sheer force of the impact.
This is a lab gun, and it shoots a slug about this big. So think about that, a slug that big. A slug that big going Mach 7 puts a hole through 6 half-inch steel plates this big. Just this little slug.
Went through all of these.
All 6 of those. There's not a thing in the sky that's going to survive against that.
In this shot, what's officially called the hypervelocity projectile goes through 3 reinforced concrete walls. The Navy already has missiles that perform the same feats, but they cost millions of dollars each.
This costs right here about $25,000.
Both the cost and size, it weighs 23 pounds, mean they can be bought and stored aboard ship by the hundreds.
Someone may be sending a multi-million-dollar missile at us, and I'm going to take it out with a $25,000 projectile round. I'll take that trade every single day.
But not so fast. The first railgun won't go to sea until 2016, and then only aboard a cargo vessel for testing. It will be the end of the decade before the railgun appears on warships. David Martin, CBS News at the Naval Research Laboratory.
So now, what's the point of the railgun? The point of the railgun is that it can shoot what they're saying, what they're publishing. The initial diagram that I showed you said 200 nautical miles. What they publicly list is an effective range for the American version is 100 miles, and there's evidence that the Chinese are a little bit ahead of the United States on that, and they claim 124 miles. So if something can fire 100 miles directly to the target, then on the water, I am only using it, there's over 6,600 feet of curvature missing at that distance. That's not taking into account the height that the gun is fired from. So let's just say there's a mile, better than a mile, of missing curvature on the ocean. It is not fired straight up in the air and lobbed down to its target. Okay, it is fired directly. The only way that is possible if it is firing over a level surface. There is no debate on this. You can go, it's easy to research, look into the Navy railgun, look at the published information. It is firing over a level surface. Okay? It's not an intangible. It's not lights up in the sky. Okay? It is something that is destructive. It is solid. It is tangible. It is something that the governments of the world are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to incorporate into their military. That horizon is level. It continues level as you go out away from you. There's no disputing it. If there was a curve, that weapon system could not, by its nature, work. It would be impossible. And I doubt very seriously governments of the world would be investing all that money in full-scale direct-to-site, or whatever the technical term is. I think you get the point. It's an impossibility on a globe. It could not work. There is no debating it. It's no lights in the sky. It's simple fact. Okay? And I will be putting up a video in the near future to not only show that we are on a level plane, indisputable, all right, but we are also on a stationary plane. It's not moving. It's exactly as it appears. No long-winded explanations, no mathematical sophistry can extinguish the fact that railgun fires over 100 miles in a straight line in seconds. It cannot be done on a globe. In order to hit a target that far away, the railgun would literally need to shoot into the water. And it does not. So thanks for listening. I hope I explained it well. And hopefully with time I'll get better in producing my videos so they're in a lot better format. But this is not debatable. Alright? Be safe, y'all. Bye.